Yeah.
Let's go ahead and move to my G.A.S or Pass.
Okay.
So we've talked about one of these before in a G.A.S or Pass. But there's a new thing that's been released. AmpRx is released. They had the brown box, and we've talked about that in the past. But they've released the Brownie, which I kind of love the idea of the Brownie, right?
Yeah.
So this is more set up for like modern amps. So you can go down on the Brownie 7 volts, which is not a ton, but it's probably enough. And then you can go up either 3 or 5 volts. The Brownie is the only voltage regulator they've got that goes up in voltage.
Okay.
So if you show up to a gig and you plug into some wall outlet, some old place, and it's 117 volts, but you're running a modern amp that needs 120, you can bump that up 3 volts and you're running perfectly at 120.
Okay.
So, and it's $299, so it's $50 cheaper than the standard, I almost said protein. It's $50 cheaper than the standard brown box.
Okay.
What's your thoughts on this? Is this a G.A.S or Pass for you? I initially had certain feelings about it, and then by the time I got done kind of like reading on it and researching on it, I had different feelings. So go ahead with what you think.
I'm trying to think the voltage that when I plug in my Tweed, because it really is finicky. My Tweed will become sterile if it doesn't have the right voltage. Man, is 7 volts down enough? I don't need anything to go up. All my amps, I need it to go down. The voltage, usually. Only unless I go into a shoddy place where the electricity
it's 125 volts.
But usually my Tweed does better in those situations, so I'm not mad.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, honestly, I don't really need the up option.
The problem is with the original brown box is it goes down by percentages. So I can't tell you exactly what percent it's going to go down to.
Right.
Or what exact
Volt.
number.
Yeah.
This has got a standard volt that it'll take you down, which is kind of nice.
Right.
7 volts is quite a bit. I don't think, you know what I mean?
I was about to say 7 is as much as I would need. It's the up feature I don't really need anyways. I mean, I guess you're saving $50, you might as well get one. You know what I mean?
And if you showed up with your Princeton's a reissue. It's meant to run at 120 volts. If you show up and it's 115 volts, like you can bump that thing up 3, get to 117, it's got a little sag in it. Or you can go ahead and get it up to 120, and that's exactly where it should be running. That's kind of why I started thinking. Initially, I was like, wow, 7 volts. I don't think that's going to be enough. I don't really want to go up on voltage, blah, blah, blah.
I think it's everything that you would need.
I thought, man, and it's smaller, which is awesome. $50 less, awesome. I was like, man, I just want the original one. I want the brown box where I can go down like quite a bit, and everything's going to be good. But the more I started thinking about it, I was like, yeah, but I play quite a bit of modern equipment. Very rarely am I playing vintage like amps and stuff. So do I really need to go all the way down to 110 most of the time? Probably not.
So one could say you got the munchies for these brownies.
Bad joke.
So yeah, I guess I've got the munchies for these brownies. But yeah, I started thinking about it. I was like, most of my amps are modern or they're reissues that are built for this. And I've kind of played with some voltage stuff in the past where like 117 is kind of the sweet spot where everybody kind of agrees somewhere in that ballpark for even modern amps is kind of great. A few volts less than standard. You're not tearing up your tubes. And most of the time the issue is voltage is too high. So you're going to be dropping it down. But 7 volts I think is enough. For me, it's a complete G.A.S. What I'm saying is, initially, I said, no, I want the brown box. After a little bit of research and really thinking it over in my head, if I'm playing a 2-Rock, a Z-Rec, if I'm playing my deluxe reissue, if I'm playing this Marshall reissue.
If you're going between multiple amps, it makes complete sense.
Yeah, because sometimes you need to go down, sometimes you need to go up.
Yeah.
Even if you've got a vintage amp, it's probably enough to get you down dang close.
Right. I think honestly this might be more usable. Now that you've explained it, and I've listened to your TED Talk.
You're welcome.
I think, yeah, it's a G.A.S.
Oh, good. All right.